So we have just had the Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Alright, I'm joking. Let a man dream. Just had the Anthony Joshua Kubrat Pulev press conference. And as usual, what we are going to do is use the art of body language to get a little inkling into the psychological state of both fighters to give us a clue into how they're going to perform come fight night. So we're trying to understand, what does Pulev's leg position tell us about what's going on inside his head? What information can we take away from AJ swinging on a chair? Looking at part of the brain called the hippocampus, and how will the emotional memory of Ruiz, could this be playing on Anthony Joshua's mind? As well as how the limbic system is affecting Kubrat Pulev, because there is two, not one, two examples of Kubrat Pulev just slightly cracking under pressure when it really counts. But as a bonus, I'll also be explaining how one thing we're going to be talking about on this video could be the tool that not just AJ but anybody else could use to help him, it's not guaranteed, to try and crack Tyson Fury. So it's been a while, it has been a while, not much going on during lockdown. But welcome back to the Believe in Bruce channel. If you're interested in performance psychology, body language, anything to do with the head and heart, so you can be the best version of yourself, then subscribe, remember, leave us a like and a comment, because I'm interested, but also for the algorithm, I'm not going to lie. It'd be great if you stay around for future videos. And remember, body language is not a mystic science. It gives us an inkling into how the fighter is feeling right there at that T-junction moment. Biology doesn't lie. So we're going to be looking at factual data from what I observed in the press conference. So let's look in the context of the fight here. We've got Anthony Joshua. Took a loss to Ruiz, won Ruiz. His next potential fight after Pulev could be Tyson Fury. An absolutely biblical fight. Alright, biblical type fight. So let's actually get into the body language and then explain some psychological theories after that you can apply not just to boxing or fighting, but to life in general, especially if you want to make sure that nobody else can lie to you in the future. And what we're going to be looking at here is the feet, alright? The feet. I'm pointing down here because this is where my feet are. I'm not sure where else they would be above my head. But the legs and feet are such an indicator of how somebody is feeling. And remember, context is key. Straight away, off the bounce, Kubrat Pulev's left leg is facing away. Alright, he's facing away from the threat, which is Joshua. And you'll notice here that his promoter's leg and his trainer's leg is both facing. So you'd expect if somebody's there, you know, as you turn to them, your whole body would be facing them. Next time you notice that, if you start talking to somebody and their top half is facing you, but their legs are rotated, they want to move away, they're not really interested in you. Then they don't want to engage. And this is what we see here with Pulev. Now, it could say, well, he might be sitting there because he's comfortable. Yeah, absolutely could be comfortable. Alright? But when somebody shifts their legs in that direction, because he's not pointing towards what will be classed as the threat, he's pointing away, that's giving us an indication. Now, he might not be comfortable with press conferences, we don't know. But what it is showing is a discomfort. Can't argue with that. We don't know what about, but it is showing a discomfort. He does not want to be there in that moment because his leg is indicating where he would rather be. And then what we've got here is AJ swinging in the seat. Now, this is an emotional baseline for AJ. This is normal emotional baseline. Now, there is some adrenaline firing here. It could be a self-soothe. But what we know, we can see, although we can't see his legs at this particular clip, is that his body is swinging from side to side. That adrenaline is coming into the thigh area. That's generally where adrenaline impacts first. Now, that's not to say he's scared. That's not to say he's relaxed. But there's some energy there that's starting to build up. And the reason why I noticed it on one of my previous videos about AJ, in the Ruiz 2 press conference, is when he is coming to do the face-to-face, he starts swinging his arms like this. Yeah, he starts swinging his arms. That's adrenaline coming into the arms. It doesn't stay still. Why is somebody moving? But that's his emotional baseline. So for me, that would say that AJ is getting ready, and that would make sense. Okay, that would make sense. The fight is only a couple of days away. But there's two things here with Pulev. Now, Pulev seems confident. I'm not going to lie. He absolutely seems confident in his own abilities. But what the body language gives us is what we call critical points. Then there's two critical points here, of which, remember, Pulev is here to fight. He's here to win the fight. He is here to win the World Championship. And I've got one example here from the press conference, another one from the video that DAZN released yesterday, where Pulev is doubting himself. I don't know what the doubt is, but the doubt is there. So when he's talking about, I'm coming for the win, in today's press conference, you will see the blink Alright, the blink is a negative affirmation. There's something negative going on inside his head there because it's the blink. I will think the win. When you're talking about something positive associated, i.e. the win, it's usually you're anything but shutting your eyes. You're engaged, your eyes are wide open. But we don't see this here with Pulev. So again, although he's saying it, what his body language is saying is something different. Take a look.
And I think Saturday night, I take the win, take the win, take the win, take the win.
And then what we've got from the interview yesterday, talking in the interview for 7 minutes, 19 seconds, he looks the absolute pinnacle, calmness, coolness, confidence. But when he says, I am the new world champion, he disengages. In fact, it's not just an eye disengagement, his whole head disengages.
I'm the new world champion.
So, in two critical moments, when he's talking about the win and becoming world champion, which is what he is here to do, there is that element of doubt there. Again, I can't make this up, I'm showing the evidence. So Pulev seems like he's up for a fight, but there is some doubt there. I don't know what the doubt is, but there is something there that I would have, if given the opportunity, like to explore that a little bit deeper. And for me, the question about AJ is you've got obviously the Ruiz past or the Fury future. How is this impacting? And I'll tell you why I think, the area I would like to look at about the hippocampus. Now, the hippocampus is the area of the brain associated with memory, emotional memory. So is that driving him to the point of his sweet spot? So he's in the zone, as we call it. Or could it be putting too much stress on him? The same question could be asked about the Fury fight. Is that the need, the desire? Because I know people say, oh yeah, I'm not looking past Pulev in this case. But you cannot not look past Pulev, it's there. So there will be an element of, okay, I need to get past him to get there. The question is, as a stressor, so stress is the adaptation process, the stressor is what starts the adaptation process. You know, the Ruiz, how did you feel about that? You know, I'm expected to win Pulev, and you know, all the odds are stacked in my favour. That's what the bookmakers are giving us as well. Will that change his performance come fight night, or will the desire to fight Fury further down the line, will that change his sweet spot? Will he be not up for it as he was against Ruiz, or will he be too much up for it, or will he just be in his sweet? We won't know until come fight night. But then you've got Pulev as well. When we talk about Pulev, the reason why he disengages from the camera, the reason why there's that negative eye block there, is because of that doubt. And again, that comes from the limbic system. That fight, flight or freeze response. I'm not saying he's not going to fight. I'm not saying he's going to freeze. But what I'm saying here, it's that limbic system, that mammalian, that sort of inner chip that we've got. That very reactive thing. That in the moment, that gives us that indication that not everything, and that's what I'm saying, not everything is as fully concrete, solid, solidified.
I'm the new world champion.
And when we talk about that limbic system, that's what we're looking at. Because with Tyson Fury, which is where this conversation is going to go, people say, oh, will AJ win Fury? Will Fury win AJ? Let's just take Fury by himself. There's an opportunity that's come along when we talk about the Yerkes-Dodson model, that inverted U. We need some stress to come along to help us get up for the performance. Even if you listen to AJ's interview about the Andy Ruiz, like, you know, you saw me in the corner, I wasn't up for it. The message that was going on in his head, the narrative that was going on inside his head didn't allow him to be the best version of himself that night. I'm not saying that would have changed the result, but he probably didn't help himself to be his best self to result in the optimised performance that he could have delivered. And this is where this U-shaped model comes in, the Yerkes-Dodson model. And this is what I think they could use against Tyson Fury. Because if you can stress Tyson Fury out, I'm talking stress, I'm not saying, you know, he's a shiver and wreck. But you just need to look at Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson had a lot of opponents beat before you come into the ring. A lot of fighters don't use the psychological advantage. They're not comfortable to, they don't want to say the words, they don't want to ask the questions. But there's a thing here with Tyson Fury that wasn't available even 3 years ago, where you've got two things that have come together. And one question alone could be enough to really impact Tyson Fury's performance. I've always said, it's very hard to win Tyson Fury just by concentrating on these. In my opinion, you give yourself a better... Remember, I'm a big Fury supporter. I love Tyson Fury. What an entertainer. But it's that specific point there, that specific need for Fury, that if you tap into and ask the one specific question, that's where it could start crumbling in here. An external stimuli affects the internal balance. That's the best chance that anybody, not just AJ, has got, or at least a combined approach, mental as well as physical. So overall, not much to go on from a body language perspective there. Couple of key things for me, Pulev, two signs of doubt in critical moments. That's not saying it's going to show up in fight night, but it's something that we can't argue with, it was there. And again, those eye blocks coming down and those disengaging from the camera, there's something going on in his head. But who do I think is going to win? Please, AJ, please, you've got to give us the Tyson Fury fight. Like, is there anybody in the world who doesn't want AJ to fight Tyson Fury? Rumble in the Jungle, Thriller in Manila, the Madness in Manchester, whatever it ends up being. That would be a fight of biblical proportions. As usual, I'll be with my friends True Geordie, Lawrence and the guys down on True Geordie's channel, giving the psychological perspective, covering the fight on Saturday night. You can catch it on True Geordie's Twitch channel that I'll put the description below. Remember, anything to do with body language, performance psychology, if you're interested, subscribe below, leave your comments, give me a like for the algorithm. Above everything else, believe in Bruce. Remember to be kind to yourselves and each other.